This video is packed with 20 on-trend farmhouse Christmas decor that you can make on a budget. We're going to jump right in with this drop cloth. This one is brand new, and we're just going to start tearing it apart. We're going to create a runner for a table, so like a dining room table runner. Really easy, anyone can make, and it's going to have a very farmhouse relaxed look. So we're going to take it and we're just going to rip a piece off, and this is going to be a foot long, or a foot wide, I should say. Just 1 foot wide, and then I'm just going to cut it to whatever length I need for my table. So if you're going to recreate something like this, all you have to do is just make sure you cut it to the length that you need for your table. Once I had it cut, it's time to tear the other side. So I want the other side, I want both sides to have that frayed look. So I'm just going to make a little slit and tear off that trim portion there. Again, just to make sure that I have frayed sides on both sides. Took it to my dining room table, and I'm just going to spread it all across. That way I'll know exactly how long I need to cut it. And I think it was about maybe 10 to 12 inches on each side hanging. Now I am going to use a stencil that I cut out using my Cricut, and it says "True Love was born in a manger." I actually cut out 2 of them because I am going to place them on both ends, and then I am going to stencil it using red paint. This is the Farmhouse Red by Rust-Oleum chalk paint.
I was closing down for business in my little prison shop when the bell on the door jingled once more, and then time almost came to a stop, but somehow I knew, and maybe so did you, that everything would change from now on. Yes, from this Christmas on, this Christmas on, from this Christmas on, it's gonna be you and me decorating the tree from this Christmas on. We forgot what you came.
I am now going to flip it to the other side, and that way I can stencil the other side. I'm doing it very carefully because the paint's still a little wet, but I want both stencils to look forward. So if you're sitting in front of the runner, the words are actually facing you. And so again, I'm just going to do the same thing. Just place the stencil and stencil it with the same paint. And a quick reminder that if you have an Instagram account, I'd love to connect with you there. I do have my page linked down below in the description box, so check it out if you have some time. And we're all done, and look how beautiful this looks. I love this runner. It just has a very farmhouse Christmas style, and I think it's stunning.
In the coffee shop just next door, we talk for hours on end, and somehow
Here we go. So this one is also so cute. I just love them all, really. All right, so I'm going to take the same drop cloth, and this time I'm going to rip strips of about 1.5 inches each. I'm not measuring, I'm just kind of eyeing them out. And this is the piece that I cut off of the piece that was left over that I cut off of the table runner. So I'm just going to cut them. I ended up having to cut several pieces more, but not too many. Now these 3 pumpkins are left over from my fall decorations. 2 of them are from the Dollar Tree, the smaller ones. and the larger orange one is from Target Dollar Spot. So I am going to create a snowman. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out a hole on the top of the big one and the small one, because the middle one, it already had a hole, and that's so that I can tuck in the strips of drop cloth. And I'm just going to wrap all the pumpkins around. That way it has a drop cloth look to it.
Is it time to cheer? Let our loved ones, our family and friends have a Christmas with so much love and with joy and laughter. Let us make memories that stay forever. It's Christmas today. All snow is falling down, all the colored lights lighting up this town. And as I
So as you've noticed, I haven't been hot gluing because it's not necessary, but towards the end, the hole started getting smaller and tighter. So I did have to hot glue towards the end, but it was fine.
outside, hear the Christmas choir sing, Merry Christmas to you.
And then of course I repeated the process with the tiny one as well as the medium one.
All snow is falling down, all the colored lights lighting up this town. And as I walk out,
Right now that my pumpkins are nicely wrapped, I am going to hot glue them together to create the snowman.
jingle bells ringing in my ear, jingle bell, a sound that's oh so dear. Frosty the snowman is all around town. Watch out, the reindeers are falling down. We stay up waiting for Santa tonight. He climbs down the chimney at the speed of light, while we're dancing around the Christmas tree, hugging and kissing, just you and me. Carolers are singing outside our door, lovely songs we all heard.
This is a dry branch pick that I got, probably like a couple years ago. It had this little tiny pine cone, so I'm just going to take 3 of them, and these are going to be the buttons of the snowman, and I'm just going to hot glue them in place.
Before, as they walk from house to house, to wish us all a Merry Christmas Day. Oh, a Merry Christmas Day. Oh.
And I took 2 little tiny little pine cones that came in this little baggie from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use those as the eyes. And then for the nose, I'm going to use one of the leftover stems from the, I believe was the small pumpkin. And I just like poke a hole with the scissors and then filled it with hot glue. And then I'm just placing the nose there, which is the stem, and it'll dry nice and firm. And then for the arms, I am going to take the branches from that pick, and I'm going to do the same thing. Poke holes on the side, fill them with hot glue, and then stick the branches. I'm going to have one kind of like facing up and then the other one facing down, so they're not both facing up.
We're chasing snowflakes as they're falling down, and follow Rudolph all across the town. Later we meet under
I'm not going to take this infinity scarf from the Dollar Tree, which I am loving. I just did a video with all kinds of DIYs with this scarf, and I'm just in love with it. I'm going to cut a strip. It's about an inch thick, and I'm just going to use that as the scarf.
While Santa's busy saying ho ho ho, we're feeling jolly eating Christmas cake, and then we go skating on the frozen lake, saying hi.
I then took a piece of scrap wood. This literally is a piece of scrap wood. This is like a side of a drawer, I think it was. I don't know what it was, but it's a perfect size, and I'm just going to hot glue the entire snowman to it so that it has a base to sit on and not tilt over, because the poor thing was tilting over. And then I used the larger stem from the medium-sized pumpkin. No, I don't remember which pumpkin it was, but one of the larger pumpkins, and I'm going to use that as the little hat. Look how cute he turned out.
Every friendly face, and later we warm up by the fireplace. Carolers are singing outside our door, lovely songs we all heard before, as they walk from house to house to wish.
Drop cloth, and I am going to make a Santa hat. So I am just going to kind of eye out what the width of the Santa hat that I want to see, and then I'm just going to fold it over and then just cut the triangle for the Santa hat and hot glue the seams so that they are nice and secure with hot glue. All right, so I'm now going to flip it inside out or outside in, and that way the seams are inside. In most cases in this video, I'm going to leave the little fuzzy sides out so that I can see it, but in this case, I wanted to tuck them in. So I'm going to take this fuzzy, cute little mop from the Dollar Tree. I recently used one to create stockings, and it turned out super cute, so I thought it would be appropriate to use for this Santa hat. And I am going to cut the piece that is excess to the sides, and that's what I'm going to use later on. But for now, I'm going to use whatever I cut out, or the piece that I cut out there. I'm going to fold it, and then I'm going to just cut it down the middle, and then I'm going to hot glue it in place. I'm going to clean out a little bit of that excess piece that I had just to have the trims be nice and clean. And then I'm going to use this as the top little fuzzy part from the Santa hat. And again, I'm just going to hot glue it in place.
have a place that I can come home to. Yes, I am on my way. We'll put our different.
As an added detail, I'm going to take this piece ornament from the Dollar Tree. I removed the little details because at first I thought I can just place it on top, but when I pulled it off, it actually pulled some of the glitter off, so I ended up having to hot glue it right on top on the same spot, but I was okay with that. So I'm just going to hot glue the ornament to the right side of the fuzzy part of the Santa hat.
And just enjoy this moment of peace and love and happiness. We come together to celebrate. Yes, every time the snow is falling down and it is cold outside, we gather around the fire.
And I'm going to add a little pine cone from the Dollar Tree, and then we'll be done. This one is extremely adorable.
And no one cares about yesterday. My favorite holiday. It means so much more than words can say. And I claim that Christmas is a magic day. Sometimes I tend to forget what glory this holiday represents.
Again, I am going to use my drop cloth, and now I'm going to cut a piece. I grabbed a piece of scrap paneling that I had in the garage, and I'm just going to cut a piece that it just goes over the size of the piece of paneling. That's because, again, I'm going to rip the one side so it has the fuzzies, but the two shorter sides on the sides, I'm just going to fold those in, so I'm not going to have the fuzzies. I did learn that the drop cloth, you can rip going lengthwise, but going like sideways, it does not rip. So I did try. All right, so as you see here, I am just now folding to see how long I want the drop cloth to be. Hot glue it, and then I'm going to paint the edges of the I'm going to hot glue the edges of the drop cloth, and then I'm going to paint the edges of the paneling using 2 coats of Vermilion chalk paint in the linen white.
Yes, every time the snow is falling down and it is.
All right, so now it's time to secure the drop cloth to the paneling, and I'm just going to do that using hot glue.
We gather around the fireplace, and no one cares about yesterday. My favorite holiday. It means so much more than words can say. And I claim.
I got a little packet of these stencils last year at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use this one, but I'm only going to use the actual words, not the little like squibblies and the little leaves. So I'm going to tape those, I'm going to tape over those so that I do not stencil them in error. I am now stenciling using a stenciling brush and Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the charcoal tone.
It's cold outside, but the fire keeps us warm. We can spend the night underneath the mistletoe. And I've gotten you a present that I put under the tree. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for you and me.
All right, so now I am going to take 2 of these greenery ties. I think it's what it is, but they're wonderful. They're very easy to work with. They're from Dollar Tree. You get 10 in a packet, and I'm going to take 2, twist them around, and I'm going to make a small little wreath and then, just kind of twist it. And then this is what I'm going to add to the right side of the words, and I'm also going to give it a little tiny red bow using ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and then hot glue everything to the sign.
Snow is falling down, and the storm is on its way. But as long as you're around, everything will be okay. 'Cause all I wanna do is spend this holiday with you. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for me and you. I longed for this moment to have you for myself, in a cabin out of nowhere, just us and no one else. I've decorated everything till we're perfect for this week. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for you and me. Another year went by, but the difference this time is that ever since July, I've been happier than I have ever been. It's safe to say that my love for you is true. Tomorrow it is Christmas.
I found these frosted berries at the Dollar Tree, and unfortunately they only had 1 pick left, so I grabbed it, but I cut a couple little small branches off of it. I'm just going to hot glue them right underneath the bow to kind of give it a little extra detail, and we're going to call it a day with this one, guys. It is stunning.
The first for me and you. I longed for this moment to have you for myself, in a cabin out of nowhere, just us and no one else. I've decorated everything till we're perfect for this week. Tomorrow it is Christmas.
So here we are. We are going to take 1 of these foam cylinders that I got at the Dollar Tree, and we're going to make an oversized ornament. I guess it's oversized. I don't know. Maybe medium sized. And I'm going to take a piece of the leftover straps that I had from when I first did the snowman. I had to cut some extra ones, so I had this one left over, and I'm just going to wrap it around, starting on one end and going towards the other end, hot gluing it, and then I'm going to add a couple little pieces on the sides just to cover some edges that were not covered.
It's white outside, and the night is cold. Everyone's lighting candles in their homes. Yes, it's Christmas. It's a magic time. You can feel it in the air, that every child got their hearts filled up with joy. Yes, it's Christmas all around. All snow is falling down, all the colored lights lighting up this town. And as I walk outside, hear the Christmas choir sing, Merry Christmas to you. This time of year is a time to cheer. Let our loved ones, our family and friends have a Christmas.
I am now going to take this white reindeer from the Dollar Tree. It's an ornament. They have some beautiful ornaments this year. I really love their selection. And my Dollar Tree is not even fully stacked for Christmas yet, so I'm going to have to go back here soon. I removed the little greenery and little bell things, and I'm just going to hot glue the reindeer to the bottom of the ornament. I'm going to take now half of one of those greenery ties, and I'm just going to kind of put it towards the bottom of the reindeer. And then I'm going to add some little other details. I'm going to add some little pine cones and then the little berries and just add a few little details to the ornament.
With so much love and with joy and laughter, let us make memories that stay forever. It's Christmas today. All snow is falling down, all the colored lights.
Of course, every ornament needs to have something to hang it from, so I'm just going to use some of that same red ribbon from the Dollar Tree, make a loop, hot glue it to the back. That's where we're going to hang it from. And then I'm going to make a bow using the same ribbon just to add a little bit more detail and a final touch. And that'll be it for this one.
Lighting up this town, and as I walk outside, hear the Christmas choir sing, Merry Christmas to you. All snow is falling down, all the colored lights lighting up this town. And as I walk outside, hear the Christmas choir sing, Merry Christmas to you.
To make a small little tree. This is going to be similar to my last video. If you have not seen it, I will link it right here, right above in a card. And it's going to be a little triangle tree. I've seen these in several like Pinterest and Facebook and YouTube. And I just wanted to make one with this drop cloth because I think it's just going to add a cute touch to this whole little kind of vignette of cozy farmhouse decor. So I'm just going to cut a triangle and then I'm going to hot glue the edges so that I can stuff it using pillow stuffing from Walmart.
Jingle bells ringing in my ear. Jingle bell, a sound that's oh so dear. Frosty the snowman is all around town. Watch out for reindeers are falling down. We stay up waiting for Santa.
Once I had it nicely stuffed, I am now going to hot glue the bottom. And as I was handling the little tree, it kind of got a little bit more of those fuzzies on the edges, which I really liked. I didn't think it was going to have so many because I didn't rip it. I actually cut it with scissors, but it really turned out super cute. Now I'm going to use a little wooden stem from the Dollar Tree, one of their larger ones, and I'm going to hot glue the tree there. And that is it for this one. Ah, man, this one's one of my favorites too, but I really like all of them.
Tonight, he climbs down the chimney at the speed of light while we're dancing around the Christmas tree, hugging and kissing just you and me. Carolers are singing outside our door, lovely songs we all heard before, as they walk from house to house to wish us all a merry.
Okay guys, so back to this infinity scarf from the Dollar Tree. I got several of them at the Dollar Tree and I'm so happy I did. I actually got them in different colors because I'm going to do several DIYs with them. All right, so I'm going to cut another little triangle tree. And this is so that I can, it's just going to be the one side. It's not going to be double-sided. I'm going to hot glue it on a piece of drop cloth. Now this drop cloth is already folded in half. If I were to give you measurements, I really didn't measure, but if I were to give you measurements, I'd say it's about 20 inch by 18, something like that. And I'm just going to hot glue it to the bottom right of the drop cloth. This is going to be a pillow. So I am going to do a couple things here. I'm going to hot glue this tree, and then I'm going to free hand paint a couple of evergreen trees to each side of the burlap um, tree there. And I'm going to use Artisa fabric paint in their green, white, and brown. And I'm going to let you watch as I paint away.
Chasing snowflakes as they're falling down, and follow Rudolph all across the town. Played it with me under the mistletoe, while Santa's busy saying ho ho ho. We're feeling jolly, eating Christmas cake, and then we go skating on the frozen lake, saying hi to every friendly face, and later we warm up by the fireplace. Carolers are singing outside our door, lovely songs we all heard before, as they walk from house to house to wish us all a Merry Christmas Day. Merry Christmas Day. A Merry Christmas Carolers are singing outside our door, lovely songs we all heard before, as we walk from house to house to wish us all a Merry Christmas Day. Yeah, a Merry Christmas Day. Dancing round the Christmas tree, wishing all a Merry Christmas. Dancing round the
All right, so all done painting. It's still a little wet, so I'm going to be very careful, but I'm just going to hot glue the edges because, again, I want to keep those beautiful little just fuzzy edges that I'm loving. And I'm going to leave the one side open for now because I'm going to stuff it. Actually, I'm going to fold and hot glue just about half of it, and then I'm going to stuff it through there. I'll do the same thing on the other side, just hot glue. And I'm going to use the same pillow stuffing that I used for the little tree.
Last year I thought about how things can come around just like that if everyone is here to celebrate one day. We have our ups and downs, but when there's love there's always a way. And oh, this time of year we come together to celebrate. Yes, every time the snow is falling down and it is cold outside, we gather around the fireplace and no one cares about yesterday. My favorite holiday, it means so much more than words can say. And I claim that Christmas is a magic day. Sometimes I tend to forget what glory this holiday represents, but it's fair to say that Christmas is a magic day. This year I'll think about how I'm so lucky to have a place.
All right, so we're just about done with this one. I'm just going to fold the seam and hot glue to finish this one off. And it's beautiful. I thought about adding a little bit more details, but I just thought simple like this was just stunning.
That I can come home to. Yes, I am on my way. We'll put our differences aside and just enjoy this moment of peace and love and happiness. We come
Right. Here we go. So now I'm going to use this poster board from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to cut a random piece. I'm not a fan of measuring. Have you noticed? So I'm just going to cut a piece here and I'm just going to fold it into a cone. And then I'm going to just fold it and tape it with regular like tape. And this is just to create again, just kind of like a tree shape, like a cone tree shape. And after I have it taped, I do cut a lot of the bottom until I have a straight cut as well as the size of a cone that I'm looking for.
Gather round the fireplace, and no one cares about yesterday. My favorite holiday. It means so much more than words can say. And I claim Christmas is a magic day. Sometimes I tend to forget what glory this holiday represents. But it's fair to say that Christmas is a magic.
All right, so now once I had the cone shaped in size as I wanted it, I'm now going to cut more of those strips of drop cloth and I'm just going to cut there again. It's about a maybe 1.5 to 2 inch thick, and then I'm cutting little strips and those strips are about 3 inches, but again, not measuring, just kind of eyeing them out. And then once I had all these pieces cut, I'm going to start placing them on the cone using two-sided tape from the Dollar Tree. At first I was hesitant and I thought about using hot glue, but it worked really well. I was very impressed. So I started on the top, but I then changed my mind because I thought it would be so much easier to start at the bottom and then start placing on as I went up so that they kind of fall over each other. And I just did that until the entire tree was as covered as I can get it covered.
Yes, every time the snow is falling down and it is cold outside, we gather around the fireplace and no one cares about yesterday. My favorite holiday. It means so much more than words can say. And I claim Christmas is a
Okay, so some little areas you can still see through, like right there. So I'm just going to take a few other pieces and start placing them. So just lifting them up, placing another piece, and then when you place the other ones, it's nicely over it and it just falls right over it. And I did that throughout several times until I was satisfied with what I saw.
It's cold outside, but the fire keeps us warm. We can spend the night underneath the mistletoe. And I've gotten you a present that I put under the tree. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for you and me. The snow is falling down and the storm is on its way, but as long as you're around.
All right, so now I'm making sure that everything is nicely placed. I did put two-sided tape all around the rim of the bottom of the tree so that it is, because you know, some of these strips kind of curl up. So that way it's just covered and it doesn't lift up. And then I'm going to trim off the excess strips from the bottom.
Everything will be okay, 'cause all I wanna do is spend this holiday with you. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for me and you. I've longed for this moment to have you for my.
To cover the top, I am just placing two-sided tape all around the rim of the top. And then I'm going to take a piece of scrap strip from the drop cloth and I'm just going to drape it right over it and then make sure that it's nicely set. Now I'm going to take several strips of that same infinity burlap not burlap. Did I say burlap last time? Plaid or buffalo check infinity scarf. And I'm just going to start placing them randomly all over, mimicking the same shape and style. This is just to add a little bit of color to the tree, and then we'll be done. So I want to thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope it inspires you. I am in love with these DIYs. I just absolutely love the coziness, farmhouse style that it has, and just a relaxed style. I'm now going to take several of these small pieces of wood. They're like almost like a paneling or something I already had in the garage. And I'm just going to line them up and just going to try to put them in a spot where they're not all on the same size. Just kind of switch them around and making sure that to the eye it looks nice. And then I'm just going to start hot gluing a painter stick right on top. I also stapled it just to make sure it is nice and secure. And then it's time to start painting. I'm just going to give the front of it 2 coats of Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the linen white. I'm just using a chippy brush, nothing major, nothing fancy.
Feeling alone, kinda misty. Waiting now for you to come. It's cold again, but I know.
This was actually a Pinterest-inspired DIY, so I'm going to start freehanding a Christmas tree here. And it's not going to be a typical kind of Christmas colors, but then we're going to add some embellishments and it's going to all come together.
Sitting by the fire and dream. Tell me again with a whisper. Little things that I wanna hear. And the stars up above are smiling when they see you holding me so near. I see snowflakes on the chimney.
Once I was done with the black and gray, I am now going to just start highlighting with some white. This is just to kind of make it look like there's snow on top of the branches. And I think this took it to a whole new level. I think it's beautiful.
And the candles have a certain glow, a secret and a song, even church bells.
Once it dried up, it's time to add a little bit of embellishments. I'm just going to add some of these little foam red berries from a pick from Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to add them to kind of like to some of the ends of the branches. This is just going to add a little bit of color as well as a little bit more of a Christmas tree-like style. And then I did add a bow to the top. I'm going to just take regular ribbon from the Dollar Tree, some red ribbon, and I'm going to make a very simple bow, and I'm going to hot glue it to the top of the tree.
And the children making angels in the snow. Oh, what a gift to be given.
I'm going to add a piece of a wooden block, just some leftover block that I had on hand. I'm going to do E6000 as well as hot glue it to the back, and that way the little tree can stand and not fall. Look how beautiful this looks. Isn't it just trendy farmhouse style, and it can go in any decor.
Can this old heart be? And I fall into peace and silence.
I'm going to take these pieces of scrap 1x4s, and before having them here in my table, I cut them to size using my miter saw. And you're gonna see here what I'm gonna be making. But I'm gonna paint one of them white and the other one red. This is Rust-Oleum chalk paints. One is the linen white, the other one is Farmhouse red. The red seems a little bright, but it does darken up a little bit after it dries. And now I'm going to take two other pieces of scrap wood. I had used these little boards on another DIY, and I kept them because I just wanted to, I don't know, do something with them. And I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to use them. I'm going to cut pieces of drop cloth, and I'm just going to wrap just the front of it with hot glue and then cut the X's. I'm now going to take some ribbon. This is a red truck holiday ribbon from Dollar General, and I'm going to cut a piece and hot glue it to the center of the plank there. What I'm going to be making two gift boxes, or what will look like gift boxes. So this is going to be the top of the gift box. So I'm going to make it look like it has ribbon, and then I'm going to do the same thing to the red one and add a little bit of embellishment to the top of each. All right, so now it's time to put everything together. I'm going to hot glue and also brad nail the two pieces of wood together. So that's kind of what it looks like. And I think it's looking like a box, right? So I am just going to do the same thing on the other one as well. All right, so now it's time to put the boxes together. So the original piece on Pinterest look, I think it was taller. I think it had more boxes if I'm not mistaken, but they did look like the boxes were stacked on top of each other. So that's kind of what I'm looking for here. So I'm just going to hot glue it and brad nail it to each other. The top one would be tilted, and that's what they look like. Look how cute! I love the way the original looked, but I really, really, really love why mine looked. And I know I'm a little biased, but I just like the way it turned out. And it's really heavy duty. It's made out of wood, so I'm really happy with the way it turned out. and this Dollar Tree black and gray scarf. I've been a little bit obsessed with scarves. If you don't know by now, I'm just gonna wrap this foam wreath and hot glue it in place.
It's white outside, and the night is cold. Everyone's lighting candles in their homes. Yes, it's Christmas. It's a magic time. You can feel it in the air.
I am now going to take this Dollar Tree silver pick and I'm just going to pull it all apart. I want all the pieces to be separated because I'm going to rearrange them in how I want them to look right on top of the wreath.
That every child got their hearts filled up with joy. Yes, it's Christmas all around. Oh, snow is falling down, all the colored lights lighting up this town. And as I walk outside, hear the Christmas choir sing, Merry Christmas to you. This time of year is a
And we're just about done with this one. This is another super easy DIY. You can do this with any fabric you have, with ribbon. You can wrap this wreath around with anything you have, and it could be custom to your style and your Christmas decoration theme. And I love the simplicity and how awesome it looks.
time to cheer. Let our loved ones, our family and friends have a Christmas with so much love.
This leftover DIY, I guess. I made it for summer, and it had a thermostat, a Dollar Tree thermostat on the other side of the word summer, and a storm came and it knocked it over, and the thermostat was gone. So I kept a piece of wood because it's a solid piece of wood, and so I thought I'd make something with it, and here we are. I'm going to give it 2 fresh coats of Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the linen white, and then I'm going to use this stencil. This stencil I got several years ago. I've used it multiple times. I'm just going to need the part that says Christmas. I'm going to tape off anything that is above that or below it, so that way I'm not mistakenly stenciling it. And I'm going to stencil it using Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the charcoal tone.
Jingle bells ringing in my
I am now going to mark 3 spots, and I'm going to drill holes because I'm going to add some knobs to this board. I want this to be kind of like a hook, not a hook, a coat hanging station, or maybe purse or scarves. So I'm just going to drill the holes, and then I'm going to add some crystal knobs that I got on Amazon. The crystal knobs that I am using, guys, I use all the time when I'm flipping furniture. They're beautiful, inexpensive. I do have them in my Amazon store. I have a lot of these supplies that I use all the time on my Amazon store, so check it out. The link is in the description box. I am also going to drill a couple larger holes on the top so that I can thread some rope, and that way it can be hung from there.
jingle bell, a sound that's oh so dear. Frosty the snowman is all around town. Watch out for reindeers are falling down. We stay up waiting for Santa tonight. He climbs down the chimney at the speed of light, while we're dancing around the Christmas tree, hugging and kissing just you and me.
And now it's time to add some greenery and Christmassy decor. These are leftover from a couple of picks from the Dollar Tree, and these smaller ones are from Amazon. Again, I do have them in my Amazon store, link down below. And I'm going to make a very simple bow using Dollar General ribbon. and hot glue it to the center, and we'll be done. This is one of my favorite. I really love the way this turned out. I like simplicity. I love black and white for Christmas, and I just think it looks so cute, so farmhouse-ish.
There's a singing outside our door, lovely songs we all heard before, as they walk from house to house to wish us all a Merry Christmas Day. Oh, a Merry Christmas Day.
Wall decor that I DIY'd several months ago for another DIY, and I didn't need it after spring, so, or I think it was summer. I can't remember. So I'm going to reuse it for this DIY. I'm also going to take this plaque from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use the Waverly Antiquing Wax and stain it with that. I'm going to brush it all around and then remove the excess with the rag.
Hold up, I am on my way. I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside.
I'm going to remove the claw hook from one side and just move it to the other side because I want the plaque to be able to cover the 2 holes that the plank board has. All right, so now using wood glue and my brad nail, I'm going to secure the plaque to the top of the board.
We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing? In Christmas times, we'll be chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling.
Using my Cricut, I cut the phrase days until Christmas. This is going to be a countdown to Christmas board. I saw something similar on Pinterest and I just thought, what a cute thing. I've seen them everywhere, obviously, right? We've seen them all. But I yet to have one here in my home, so I thought it'd be super cute to create my own. And since I had these supplies, I figured why not? All right, so now I'm going to take this chalkboard sticker that you can customize to whatever size you want. It's from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to mark where I need to cut, make the cuts, and place it on the center of the plaque.
All the windows in the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart. But this year I wanna hang out with my friends and family, making angels in the sanctuary. Doesn't matter, it's Christmas in my heart. And I can promise Santa's coming to visit. No, he wouldn't miss this in Christmas times. Oh, and the sun said it is just getting better on a
I am now going to drill holes. There were already a couple holes on the plaque, but I'm going to drill them all the way down because even though I have the claw hook on the back, I do want to have the option to hang this one as well through jute twine. So that's why I am drilling the holes, and then later on I will thread the jute twine. Once again, I'm going to use a pick from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to pull it all apart, and I'm going to rearrange it in the style that I want right on the top where that little loop in the plaque
It's
is.
cold outside, but the fire keeps us warm. We can spend the night underneath the mistletoe. And I've gotten you a present that I put under the tree. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for you and me. The snow is falling down, and the storm is on its way. But as long as you're around, everything will be okay. 'Cause all I wanna do is spend this holiday with you. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for me and you. I longed for this moment to have you for myself in a
They have some
cabin.
beautiful things, and I found these 2 little houses when they had their harvest kind of fall decor. And so I instantly grabbed them, and I knew I wanted them for Christmas decorations. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the battery operated lighting that it has. Very easy to remove and very easy to put back. Basically, you just remove the little I don't know, the little hooks or push them back and then carefully remove the lighting. They were attached to like a top thing, but I just pulled it down and it came off easily. I took them outside. It is a beautiful day today here, so I took them outside, spray painted them, gave them one coat of Vermilion spray paint in a flat white. I wasn't looking for perfection because I want these to have a semi-distressed look for a farmhouse look. Once the houses were dry, I am going to take one of these dusting mops from the Dollar Tree and I am going to hot glue them to the top, kind of looking like they have a whole bunch of snow on top.
Hold up, I am on my way. I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing? In Christmas times, we'll be chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter.
I want to cover a little bit of that black battery operated like lighting base on the inside, and I thought about putting decorations inside the houses, but you really couldn't see them, so I decided to just take this burlap ribbon from burlapfabric.com. It's a little bit of a mesh kind of burlap, and it's a little bit see-through, so when the lights are on you'll still be able to see through the lights, so I thought it was perfect. So I'm gonna just wrap the bottom portion of it using this ribbon. I then took some different greeneries and different things from Dollar Tree picks that I pulled apart, and I'm just going to hot glue them to the left bottom portion of each house. And I did the same thing with the second house, and I did add a little pop of red berries, and this is exactly going to be the theme for all these 4 DIYs today. Very neutral with a little pop of red.
Santa's coming to visit. No, he wouldn't miss this in Christmas times. Oh, and the sun said it is just getting better on a blanket with the skyline painted in blue. Ooh, yeah, that's what we do.
All right, so we're just about done with this one, and I am happy with these little houses. I can't wait to display them. I'm still torn whether I should sell them because I sell a lot of my crafts, or if I should keep them. I'm not sure yet.
We'll be chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the windows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas.
Tree that is it was at the dollar spot at Target, and more recently this is now with their Christmas decor, and although it is beautiful as is, I just want to give it a little bit more personality and character. So I'm going to take some of this burlap large kind of, is it ribbon? I don't know. I've had it for so long. I got it on sale at Walmart, and I've used it multiple times. I cut out a square, pretty large square, and now I'm going to put some pillow stuffing on the base of it. I usually keep a Walmart pillow. They're very inexpensive, and I just keep taking stuffing out of it for different projects. So I'm just going to add it to the base, and then I'm going to wrap the base just pretty much bringing in the corners and tucking in anything that sticks out, and then I'm going to tie it in this at the base using some jute twine.
go outside. The snow is falling down and every child is having so much fun. The snowman is twice the size as me, with a smile as quirky as mine. We're holding hands to keep each other warm while we stand and watch a choir performing all the Christmas songs that we love. Yeah, all the Christmas songs that we love.
These little LED lights are from Dollar Tree, but they do have a mesh kind of covering on it. So I'm going to very carefully cut off the mesh and just so that I can just have the string of lights.
And in a while we're gonna go inside and drink our chocolate by the fire. 'Cause all I want.
I place batteries in them and I turn them on as I am going to place them on the tree. I do like to turn my lights on when I am placing them on trees because then I know exactly where I want the lights to be placed.
To spend this day with you. Let me give you a Christmas moment we'll fill with love and joy.
I'm now going to take this glittery white ribbon from the Dollar Tree. You can't really see the glitter part, but trust me, it's there and it's very frosted like, which I thought would be perfect for this little tree. I'm going to make a triple loop bow and just tie it in the middle, then secure it to the base of the tree.
So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. I don't need any presents as long as I spend this day with you. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. I'm making plans for what we're gonna do. I feel so blessed that I can be with you. 'Cause God knows that I've been longing for you. I just wanna hold you close. You know the stars are shining just for you. Let's take a walk and we can follow the moonlight till we reach a place we can stay. Maybe kiss a bit and dream away. And in a while,
and just like I did in the previous DIY, I am going to take a couple of these little berry bunches from the Dollar Tree and I'm just going to hot glue them to the kind of underneath the bow, again just to add a little pop of red. But I want this tree to be mostly neutral, and I love the way this tree turned out.
go inside and drink our chocolate by the fire. 'Cause all I want is to spend this day with you. Let me give you a Christmas moment we'll fill with love and joy. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. I don't need any presents as long as I spend this day with you. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you.
It's like a beer jug. It's more decorative. I'm going to remove the beer word from it using some nail polish remover, and it came off super easy. Just make sure that it was nicely off. And then once I had it very clean and ready, I did remove the bottom sticker with the price. I'm going to take some greenery. These are a mix of greenery that I already had here at home and some that I got at the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to start placing it on the inside. So this is going to be kind of like, you know, those little ships, you know, that are inside like little bottles. This is kind of what I thought about. But it's very difficult. So all I could do is just literally drop them in there and then try to shake it into place. It was kind of fun, actually. I'm going to do the same thing, add a little pop of red with berries and a pine cone to the inside as well.
It's cold outside, but the fire keeps us warm. We can spend the night underneath the mistletoe. And I've gotten you a present that I put under the tree. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for you and me. The snow is falling down and the storm is on its way. But as long as you're around, everything will be okay. 'Cause all I wanna do is spend this holiday with you. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for me and you.
To add more of the burlap look to tie it in with the rest of the DIYs, I'm going to just loop it around the neck of the bottle and kind of crisscross it like an X in the front. Then I'm going to take some jute twine and I am going to kind of thread it through the center or the bottom, I should say, of the burlap ribbon there, and I'm just going to then tie it, and it's kind of look like a bow, but it's not really a bow, but it's just going to mimic one.
Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for you and me.
And then I'm going to add this little tiny little arrangement that I took off of an ornament from Dollar Tree. Hot glue it to the center of the ribbon and then call it a day with this one, guys. Another beautiful one, simple but yet so festive.
Another year went by, but the difference this time is that ever since July, I've been happier than I have ever been. It's safe to say that my love for you is true. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for me and you.
Target, a little like countdown to Christmas board. It's beautiful as is, and it actually came with a lot of different options. I was very surprised with all the options that it brought. It brought all kinds of numbers, of course, with the option of it being red with white or white with red, and then different fonts and different blank ones that you can customize. Really cool. However, I've got to make it a little bit more custom. So I am going to dry brush some white chalk paint on the house. Now I started very light and then increased the paint as I went, but I want it to have more of a distressed look. I don't want it to be all white.
Christmas lights are all around. I can see them now.
I am not going to take this little wreath from the Target dollar spot. It was $3, super cute and adorable, and I thought it would look perfect on this little board house here. So I'm going to place it on the top. I am going to kind of change it up a little bit. So I'm going to place the numbers on it just to kind of see where they fall, but I want the numbers to be in the middle of the wreath. Now this board is going to be a little different. It's not going to have the days until. I'm kind of assuming that people would know what it means. And I'm just going to place a screw so that I can then attach the wreath to it. Before we do that, I am going to take more of that burlap ribbon from burlapfabric.com, make a simple bow, secure it with jute twine to the wreath, and then secure the entire wreath to the board.
It's like they spell your name. It's insane. Now we're back here once again. Holidays and cheer. But now I got my eye set on you. I'm not gonna play it safe. It's going down on Christmas Day. 'Cause I've been trying to tell you in every way. Yeah, I've been trying to show you, but somehow felt I wanna have someone to hold. Walking through the falling snow. I've been trying to tell you in every way, but now I'll get it done. I'm not going away. And right around the mistletoe, I'm gonna let my feelings show. Always got you on my mind, but I know this time.
I'm going to add very, very little amount of greenery to this bow because there's already a lot of greenery with the wreath. And again, I'm going to add a pop of color using some red berries. Once again, just hot gluing them there to the center of the bow. And then we'll be done with this one. I'm just going to add the numbers and the Christmas board on the bottom one. And I love the way this one turned out. It's very classy. Sack. It's like a Christmas, like an old-fashioned Christmas gift sack where you can fill it with toys, zip it up or tie it up, and it would make, just a cute little decor. I bought two of them. They were a little bit on the expensive side, and I say that because I don't like buying things that are over like $5. But it was $7, but the size is humongous. Now I am going to take off just the front portion. I'm just going to cut it off, and I am going to make a sign off of it. Now I'm going to keep the rest because it has this really cool drop cloth kind of material, but thinner, so more manageable. And I think I can use it for other DIYs. But for now, we're just going to use the front portion where it has the Christmas decorations or the Christmas writing. I'm going to pull the sides just using my fingers and my fingernails. This is just to fray the edges just a little bit to give it more of a rustic farmhouse look. Here I got recently, I thrifted at the thrift store. It was $3. It is pretty big and heavy duty. It's solid wood. I want to say it was part of a cabinet door or something like that because it had like a handle, or it was just, I'm not sure what it was, but I do know that I'm really happy I got it. I hot glued the let's call it sack, right? I hot glued the sack to the board, and now I'm going to take these upholstery tacks and I'm going to hammer 4 of them, one in each corner.
Hold up, I am on my way. I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing.
So now I am going to take several little twigs and picks that I have. This twigs I got off of a whole bunch that I thrifted last year for winter decor, and I have a ton left over. So I just cut off a few pieces, and I'm going to take a couple of these branches from a pick I recently got at the Dollar General, and I'm going to create a little swag for on top of the board of the frame. And I'm going to tie it together using ribbon from the Dollar General.
Isn't that amazing? In Christmas times, we'll be chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart. But this year I wanna hang out with my friends and family, making angels in the sanctuary. Doesn't matter, it's Christmas in my heart.
After I hot glued it to the top, I'm just going to make a very simple bow using the same ribbon. This is a kind of like a burlap red ribbon from the Dollar General. It's beautiful and it's really easy to work with. I'm just going to, again, simple bow, hot glue it to the center. And then I'm going to add a couple pine cones. These are frosted pine cones from the Dollar General as well. And hot glue one in each side of the bow. And that's it for this one, guys. It's lovely. I love it. I think it's my favorite from today, but there's a couple that I really love. But this one's up there high on the list.
And I can promise Santa's coming to visit. No, he wouldn't miss this in Christmas times. Oh, and the sun said it is just getting better on a blanket with the skyline painted in blue. Ooh, yeah, that's what we do. We'll be chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart. But this year I wanna hang out with my friends and family, making angels in the January. Doesn't matter, it is Christmas in my heart. Here we go. All right. Now this Christmas, we're gonna dance. We're gonna dance, dance, dance. Come on. We're gonna dance, dance, have a good time. Dance, dance, all night.
I'm going to take some more of that leftover drop cloth and I'm going to cut several pieces. They're about 2 to 2.5 inches thick. I'm just going to break them apart so that we have the frayed look on each side. And then I'm going to take one of these candy cane wreath forms from the Dollar Tree and I'm going to start wrapping it around with the drop cloth pieces. And now it's time to add a little bit of decorations. I'm going to take more of those picks that I got from the Dollar General and a little bit more of the branches that I got. And this one I'm just gonna figure out kind of where I want to see it and hot glue several decorations on it. And then I'm going to take a little reindeer. It looks very farmhouse, very rustic. And I'm just going to hot glue it to the center as well. I did make a simple bow again using the same ribbon. Once again, I just want to stay in the same theme. I want all these decor, all these DIYs to just look like they belong together. So I am going to place this bow on top of the little reindeer that I'm going to hot glue here in just a second.
'Cause all I want is to spend this day with you. Let me give you a Christmas, a moment we'll fill with love and joy. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. I don't need any presents, as long as I spend this day with you. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. Ooh. I'm making plans for what we're gonna do. I feel so blessed that I can be with you. 'Cause God knows that I've been longing for you. I just wanna hold you close. You know the stars are shining.
And to finish it off, I'm just going to add a very small pine cone that I got at the Dollar Tree. They come in a little sack with a whole bunch of them. It's just to add a little bit of something, something there. And then we'll be done, guys. This one turned out so cute. Very different for a candy cane, but I think it just goes so well with the rest of the DIYs.
Just for you, let's take a walk, and we can follow the moonlight till we reach a place we can stay. Maybe kiss a bit and dream away. And in a while we're gonna go inside and drink our chocolate by the fire. 'Cause all I want
Create a very rustic snowman. I am going to take this, or the smaller wood slice of the two, and that's going to be the head. And I'm going to take this Dollar Tree scarf and I'm going to create a very loose, very relaxed kind of winter hat for my snowman. So I just cut a piece and then I just kind of wrapped it around. I'm going to staple it in the back. I also did hot glue the top of it just to kind of seal it in together. And then I'm going to scrunch up the top and tie it together with the leftover string from the drop cloth. That way it just looks very relaxed, very, I don't know, just chill, you know, not like a regular winter hat. And I really like the way this little hat turned out.
Last year I thought about how things can come around just like that if everyone is here to celebrate one day. We have our ups and downs, but when
I then just tilted it to the side just a bit and hot glued it, again just to give it a little bit more character and a relaxed look. Once I was done with the hat, I needed to join both wood slices together. So I took this thicker and longer, more heavy duty painter stick, and you can get these at the hardware store. I'm going to make a cut using my miter box. That way I can use it to join both wood slices. I did join them using wood glue as well as brad nails. That way it's secure and it's not going to go anywhere.
love there's always a way, and oh, this time of year we come together to celebrate. Yes, every time the snow is falling down and it is cold outside, we gather around the fireplace and no one cares about yesterday. My favorite holiday, it means so much more than words can say, and I claim Christmas is a magic day. Sometimes I tend to forget what glory this holiday represents, but it's fair to say that Christmas is a magic day. This year I'll think about how I'm so lucky to have a place.
All right, so I want to add a scarf, and I thought about using the same drop cloth that I used earlier, and I think it's a perfect little addition to the texture of this snowman. So to keep it nicely kind of like wide, I'm going to staple it to the back and then hot glue it to the front, and that way it doesn't scrunch up on me and it stays pretty
That
wide.
I can come home to. Yes, I am on my way. We'll put our differences aside and just enjoy this moment of peace and love and happiness. We come together to celebrate. Yes, every time the snow is falling down and it is cold outside, we gather around the fireplace and no one cares about yesterday. My favorite holiday, it means so much more than words can say, and I claim that Christmas is a magic day. Sometimes
For the buttons, I'm going to use 3 little small pine cones again from the Dollar Tree. And then for the nose, I'm going to use a larger pine cone. And then for the mouth, I'm just going to use little pieces of pine cones that fell off of the pine cones and just hot glue them in place.
tend to forget what glory this holiday represents, but it's fair to say that Christmas is a magic day.
To add a little bit of detail and again to just keep with the same theme and style as the other DIYs, I'm going to add a couple of those little picks from the Dollar General, hot glue them to the hat. And look how cute he looks. My daughter, she's 7. She said, "I think he looks weird, mommy." I think he's adorable. My husband liked him too, and I just think he looks perfect with the rest of the decor. I am now going to take some foam board here, and I believe this one I got from Artisa, but you can get anything, any foam board from Dollar Tree and use it, and it should work. And I'll make a very big triangle here. We're going to make a very large triangle to look like a tree, and we're going to make an outdoor little Christmas tree, and it's going to be stuffed with bags, and you're going to see all how it all comes together. But the first thing is to get a triangle. So I'm just going to cut this using my X-Acto knife and just go all the way down until I have a large triangle.
feeling alone.
I'm now going to take a 2x3 that I had in my garage, and I am going to just place some marks where I need the tree to be and where I need to put some extra wood for it not to fall. And I'm going to go over that here in a minute. But first, I'm just going to start hot gluing and attaching the foam board onto the 2x3 so we can start building the actual tree. I'm also going to be stapling it, again, just to add more security. I am then going to take some leftover, it looks like drop cloth, but it's not. It's actually part of a sack. The sack that I used earlier in the kind of like the wood board. This is the back side of it. And I'm going to cut off just enough so that I have enough to cover the front of the tree. So we are going to just start tearing it apart until I have enough fabric where I can actually cover the tree. And then I'm going to place it right on top of the foam board. And then again, we're just going to try to keep it kind of loose and open because we are going to stuff it on the inside. So I'm going to cut, leaving about 2 to 3 inches on each side. This is going to give me a good leeway so that I can have some inside space to stuff it. So we're going to turn it upside down, and we are going to start hot gluing as well as stapling all around the back side, and that way we're going to start to cover the tree.
Waiting now for you to come. It's cold again, but I know we'll be warm. Sitting by.
I'm not done with the sides, but I wanted to start stuffing with some bags. These are just grocery bags, and I thought instead of using pillow stuffing, I'm just going to use bags because it is going to be outdoors. So even if it got wet, it's going to be fine because it has the bags inside. So I am going to stuff the top first so that I can get really in there and all the way to the top. And then as I stuff, I'm also going to continue to hot glue and staple and then make my way down to the bottom of the tree.
And dream. Tell me again with a whisper. Little things that I wanna hear. And the stars up above are smiling when they see you holding me so near. I see snowflakes on the chimneys, and the candles have a certain glow.
Now we're approaching the bottom of the tree and just kind of finalizing. This is always the hardest part because now you got to pull, make sure there are no wrinkles, make sure everything's looking even. And so once I had it where I want it, I'm just going to start doing the same thing on the bottom, pulling, hot gluing, and stapling.
A secret and a song, even church bells sing along, and the children making angels in the snow. Oh, what a gift to be given. How lucky can this old heart be? And I fall into peace and silence on a very special Christmas Eve.
And I kind of went overboard with stapling, but I just wanted it to be secure. And that way, if it rains, if it's windy with the cold weather, nothing's going to come apart. And if that glue was to give out, I still have tons of staples. On the top, I just kind of tucked and folded as I needed so that it looked nice and clean. I'm going to take some Dollar General ticking stripe ribbon and I'm going to hot glue it all along one side of the tree, starting from the top and ending at the bottom. I just thought it needed a little something. So I thought adding this ticking stripe towards the left side of the tree was the perfect addition.
up above, they are shining with love. Listening to this song playing on.
I am now going to add some pieces of scrap wood that I had. These are 1x4. This is to create a base so that it's not going to fall on me, so that it can stand. So I'm just going to use a whole ton of wood glue, as you can see, and also use some brad nails to secure it in place. And I'm going to place 4 pieces, and they're all going to be facing on each direction. And this is going to allow it to have balance going to all sides.
Making angels in the snow. Oh, what a gift to be given. How lucky can this old heart be? And I fall into peace and silence on a very special Christmas Eve.
I should have definitely done this before I attached them to the bottom, but I didn't. So now I have to be very careful. I'm going to stain the bottom base using the Rust-Oleum chalked glaze in the brown tone. And I'm just going to glaze it just so that it looks finished. I don't know why I didn't think about staining it before, but I didn't. So again, now I have to be extremely careful, and it took me a lot longer. But in the end, it was worth it, and it looked really, really cute.
Tell me again with a whisper, little things that I wanna hear. And the stars up above, they are shining with love. Listening to this song playing on. Listening to this song playing.
For this next farmhouse style decor, I am going to take some pieces of wood. These are 2x3s, the same 2x3s from the tree earlier. These are some leftover ones, and I needed 8 of them. So I cut 8 of them in 8 inches long. Now I'm going to use my Craig jig to make pocket holes so that we can attach everything and have strong joints. A Craig jig you can find at any hardware store. You can also find them on Amazon, which I do have one on my Amazon store. Now the base, the wood base that it has around it, I added that just to add more base. But the actual Craig jig is just the blue part, and it comes with everything you need. But anyway, so I'm making pocket holes on all the pieces, again, just to make sure that I have something to attach them to each other and have strong joints. But if you don't have a Craig jig, you can always recreate this piece by just screwing screws right through the wood, and it should work fine. But pocket holes just makes it a little easier. So we're going to put everything together, and I'm going to create 2 squares. It's going to be the top and the bottom of a lantern that I'm creating. This is going to be a massive, long, not long, but tall and strong lantern. So I'm going to take 4 of the 8 pieces and join them together, making 1 square, and then I'm going to take the other 4 and make another square.
Let's go outside, the snow is falling down and every child is having so much fun. The snowman is twice the size as me, with a smile as quirky as mine. We're holding hands to keep each other warm while we stand and watch a choir performing all the Christmas songs that we love. Yeah, all the Christmas songs that we love. And in a while we're gonna go inside and drink our chocolate by the fire. 'Cause all I want is to spend this day with you.
Now I'm going to take some 2x2s, and these are going to be the sides. So this is going to be the long vertical sides of the lantern. I also made 1 pocket hole on each, and I am going to place them 1 in each corner.
Let me give you a Christmas, a moment we'll fill with love and joy. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. I don't need any presents as long as I spend this day with you. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. Ooh. I'm making plans of what we're gonna do. I feel so blessed that I can be with you. 'Cause God knows that I've been longing for you. I just wanna hold you close. You know the stars are shining just for you. Let's take a walk and we can follow the moonlight till we reach a place we can stay. Maybe kiss a bit and dream away. And in a while we're gonna go inside and drink our chocolate by the fire. 'Cause all I want is to spend this day with you. Let me give you a Christmas moment we'll fill with love and joy. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. I don't need any presents as long as I spend this day with you. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. Ooh.
I am going to give everything 2 coats of regular household paint. This is just like the exterior kind because it's going to be outdoors, so I want it to be durable. I still have this lantern. I used it last year and I'm going to use it again this year. I love how long it is. I love how it turned out. But anyways, I'm going to give it 2 coats and let it fully dry.
And in a while we're gonna go inside and drink our chocolate by the fire. 'Cause all I want is to spend this day with you. Let me give you a Christmas moment we'll fill with love and joy. Loving so beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby.
And because I want this lantern to have a Christmas farmhouse style, I am going to distress this. So I'm going to use my electric sander and a 220 grit sandpaper. And I'm just going to sand all around the edges, just giving it a little bit more of a distressed look.
I don't need any presents as long as I spend this day with you. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. Ooh.
This little rustic tree is one I thrifted several years ago. I have used it so many times. I am going to push it right inside the lantern. I did add some paint to the branches to make it look frosted and I did that a couple years ago. But it fit perfect. It fit perfect in every side. So that was really good. I'm going to take some of this wide burlap red ribbon I got at the Dollar General and I'm going to make a very simple bow. This is just to add a little bit of texture and color to the base of the tree.
Give you a Christmas moment we'll fill with love and joy. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. I don't need any presents as long as I spend this day with you. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. Ooh. And in a while we're gonna go inside and drink our chocolate.
And we're just about done with this one. Another beautiful farmhouse style, so large and durable. This is what I love about making your own decor. You can make it as durable as you want, and I think this one is stunning.
All I want is to spend this day with you. Let me give you a Christmas moment we'll fill with love and joy. Loving so beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. I don't need any presents as long as I spend this day with you. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you.
So now I'm going to take this piece of 1x8 that I got who knows when. It's been in my garage. I know you guys probably think, how many stuff does she has in her garage? Well, really, it's really packed with stuff. But I keep everything. So I'm going to stain it using this Waverly Oh my gosh. Antiquing wax. And once again, I'm just going to wipe it on and or brush it on and wipe it off, just like I did with the Rust-Oleum one. All right, so now I'm going to use this technique that I used in a previous DIY for fall. I'm going to scrape paint this. So I'm not even letting the glaze or the wax fully dry. I'm just going to dip the scraper on the paint with very little paint, as you saw, and I'm just going to keep scraping as it paints. This is going to give it a very weathered, rustic look. So it's going to look like it's been painted and it's been weathering for many, many months or even years. And I love the way this turned out last time I did it, and I'm just going to use it on this one too and see how it turns out.
Here comes the jolly season again with the sleigh bells and choirs singing. But I hear no church bells ringing out for me.
Look at that grain. Isn't it beautiful? All right, so I'm going to take this piece of scrap leftover decal that I used, or stencil in this case, but I used the decal for a previous DIY and I kept the stencil portion of it, and I'm going to use it for this one. I'm going to spell the word joy, and I'm going to use this wreath from the dollar spot at Target as the O. So I'm just going to place it, of course, the J on the top, the Y on the bottom, and I'm going to stencil it, but I'm going to do it the same technique as I did with the red paint. I am going to scrape these the letters, so they're going to be having the same kind of weathered look, because I want it to look like these letters were already on this board as it's been aging and weathering.
Nothing but good Santa Claus, I hope you to see. And put some big fat golden stars in your book for me. Tell me Santa, it's Christmas all about love. In that case, can I have the one that I've been dreaming of? Tell me Santa, it's Christmas about love. It's the only thing on my wish list that someone special to kiss. People of today need the latest stuff to even start to believe that someone. Can we please agree this is someone, you and me? And I think I've got more than enough just by walking around being me. And I'm sure Santa Claus can see and make you mine. Tell me Santa, it's Christmas all about love. In that case, can I
All right, so this little wreath is so adorable. Again, I got it at the Target dollar spot for $3. And so I'm just going to place it in the center there as the O for the word joy. I'm going to screw in a screw and then take some wire and attach it to it. I'm going to take the same ribbon that it came with, but instead of having it as a hanging piece, I'm going to make a very simple bow and I'm going to hot glue it to the top of the wreath. I think it looks super cute. It matches the red so perfectly. And I think the off-white kind of will bring in or kind of match a little bit the little triangle tree that I did. Same with this rope. This is leftover rope that I got from the same sack that I used for the triangle tree. So I am going to split it in two. So I cut it in half and now I am going to wrap it around the top and the bottom portion of this sign and staple it to the back and we'll be done. Oh my God. So it's so hard to choose which one is my favorite. But if I had to choose, I think this one is my favorite. I don't know. We'll see. Tell me which one is your favorite. This is it, my friends. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a blast building and making these DIYs. And I know a lot of you don't have tools, but there's always a way to make them without heavy tools. But I truly encourage you to just use some, buy some inexpensive ones. You won't believe how quick and easy it makes DIY. This is it for today. Please tell me which one is your favorite. I cannot pick which one is my favorite. There's tons of inspiration here. They're all trendy. They're all farmhouse style. And I just love that style. But let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. If you're visiting for the first time, welcome. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope it inspires you to create your own decor. And if you are returning, thank you so much for coming back. As always, I am going to have a video as well as a playlist here with tons more of inspiration for you. This is a lot of Christmas, farmhouse, all styles inspiration. So click on one of these next. I'm sure you're going to love them and have a blessed day. Bye.